As previously stated, Word is quite happy to take the data for a mail merge from pretty much any source that it can open. One common application for storing that data in is actually Excel. Now we have an Excel file in your working folder for you to experiment with, and that's called the employees.xlsx. It contains the names and addresses of 100 fictitious people. Fairly straightforward. Notice that when you're using Excel as a data source, you can only use one of the sheets. Word will not be able to read multiple sheets, and the first row in the sheet ought to contain the column names, the field names, so that when you're referencing where to put the data, it knows which column you are referring to. Apart from that, then Excel is a great tool for using as your data source, because it's easy to manage, easy to add more data to, easy to delete any data from. So if we go back to our Word document, we're going to make use of the inquiry letter. And this inquiry letter is writing to our recipients. So we're going to put the date and their address here, their name, and it's going to ask them to confirm a few items about themselves that we already hold this information. So it's just a confirmation of their gender, their marital status, and their department. So the first step is to go to the mailings ribbon. We don't need to start the mail merge. We already have the letter here. We need to select the recipients. Use an existing list. So in our working files, current chapter, and there's our Excel file. So you need to make sure you select the right data source when you're doing this. Open. Now because the data file actually contains some named ranges, it's offering me those named ranges to make use of, but I'm just going to go straight for TBL employees. Does the first row of data contain column headers? Yes, it does, because we've already looked at the file, so that's okay. We then need to insert our merged fields. So for the date, we're going to use the current date, so that's the normal insert ribbon, date and time, today's date, and I'm going to leave that to update automatically, so that if I use the letter again, it already has today's date on it. The recipient information is then on the mailings ribbon, so delete that bit of text, insert merge field, first name, space, surname, carriage return, house, space, street, carriage return, address line 2, carriage return, town city, carriage return, county, and postcode. Now the spacing between there is a little bit far apart, so I need to highlight those and just change the spacing down. Let's go for 6 points. Then their name, so let's delete name, back to mailings, insert merge field, first name, and then each of the values we're after, which is the gender, the marital status. You'll notice that whenever a column heading has a space in it, that the mail merge places an underscore there. So here we have an underscore before the word status and an underscore between first and name. The marital status, department, and the rest follows through. So previewing the results, I can see the first record and then scroll through each of the records, see how that appears. And we can see it's changing the values here, changing their name and changing their address. So we can see that it's working. We take off the preview results and we move through to the actual merge itself. But just before we do that, I notice that having put those fields in, we've moved into 2 pages and the second one is blank, which will cause my mail merge to have 200 pages, of which 100 of them are blank. So just to be careful of that, we need to delete any extraneous characters by going to the last character you can see and deleting the rest of the document. That returns me back to 1 page, which is where I need to be. Finish, edit the individual documents, all the records, and that will generate us a 100-page document. 104 in fact, so there must be more records in there than I originally expected. So we'll look at the last page. It's actually blank, as is the second to last, third to last, fourth to last. Then fifth to last has got a little bit of information because it says mail, but there's no address. And then we have a proper person at page 99. So that's 99 records that are correct. So this is the merged result. Useful for flicking through, checking that things have worked, and that in this case we don't have any blank items. But that's caused by not blank rows in the Excel file, because that could have many blank rows, but rows that have actually been used at some point and not deleted correctly, so they look like there's data in there. But we will look at how we can filter the data and effectively miss out these blank rows. So that's the merge result. If there's any errors at all, then you don't need to make the changes in here 104 times. You effectively close the document without saving, go back to the base document, the one that is now attached to the data source, make any changes, which could be adding a little bit more text. Thank you for your help and assistance in this matter. Rerun the merge and generate another set of letters with the right amount of text in. So that's taking a base document and mail merging with the data stored in Excel.